Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. It is Midweek Magazine time. And in this episode, we will be taking a look at Paper Wars number 98. This one features First Blood in the Crimea, Battle of the Alma. So this is going to be our look at the game and the magazine, and then we will do a playthrough of it in a future episode. But let's get right into it here. Let me remove it from the bag. All right, so I'm going to take the game materials out, put those aside for the moment, and we'll just get right into the magazine itself. So as I mentioned, this is issue 98, and it's from 2021. So one of the things I've found interesting in doing these, and I've only done a handful, but is that when you do an older magazine, you get to, it's like a snapshot in time, and you can see kind of the development or where things were and what at that time looked like was coming up soon on the horizon, what things may have, in hindsight, you can see what things may have changed and so on and so forth. So I think that's always interesting. But here you get to see basically like this is the next lineup of games. And in this group of 9, I've actually done a midweek magazine on this one down here, number 106, or 105 rather, sorry, Ebb and Flow. And then you can see this was right when the first episode of Doomsday Battles, the Doomsday Project, sorry, Battle for Germany was released. These were the next ones up, which I think that may have changed actually in looking at it, but I'm not sure. Then we've got an article here from Kerry Anderson, who was the designer of the game The Battle of Armageddon. This has been released and is available from Compass Games. We've got something here on Europe in Turmoil, an AAR from Chris Van Beurden, sorry, or Beurden probably. Apologies. Walking through the gameplay, so that's kind of interesting to read through. Here, so several pages of this. Pretty long and detailed AAR here. An ad for a couple of John Edwards games, The Russian Campaign, the original 1974 edition, and Victory at Sea, the original 1992 edition. Then we have Dan Bullock taking a closer look at his game, No Motherland Without, which is about about North Korea. And a look at that. This game is also available at the moment. Designer notes for White Eagle, Red Star from David Williams. This was the Russo-Polish War of 1920. I don't think this is available anymore, actually, but I'm sure you could probably pick it up on the secondary market. An ad for Grenada. Then we have Ty Bomba's strategic and operational analysis of the Crimean War and the Battle of the Alma. Now, Ty Bomba is also the guy who designed the game that's in this magazine. And so this is a pretty interesting article going through the war, the reasons for the war, some interesting background on it if you're not familiar with the Crimean War. And then we have our rules here for the Battle of the Alma. So somewhere in here it mentions, I thought it mentioned somewhere in the article about the major battles from this war. There were only 4 of them. And this was the first one. This was the first of them. So not overly complex, which is somewhat fitting for a magazine game. So you can see designed by Ty Bomba, development by Adam Starkweather, who of course is also a designer in his own right. Play testers and the map and counter graphics are by Paul Stuhlfault. Here's your combat units. You can see it's not overly complex. You've got your unit type, your combat factor, your divisional affiliation, and specific unit historic identity. The nationalities, you got Russians on gray, then you got British red, French blue, and the Turks are green. Unit types, infantry, regular infantry, Zouave infantry, Turkish infantry, Russian. Some counters here. Then we've got our setup information. It looks like we got a little note in here as well. I don't know if that's on the next page or not. It is not. How to win. So you got your victory conditions: territorial, death victory via Russian demoralization, Russian victory, capitulation, and draws. Turn sequence. Here's the outline, and then each of the phases are explained as you would expect. And on the next page, we have stacking, zone of control, movement. A little note about some map errata here. Various hex sides, how they affect movement, and then, of course, combat. And you've got some flank attack information with zones of control, etc., etc. Some nice illustrated examples here as well. And we've got our counter, look at the counter sheet, terrain effects chart, and our CRT, turn sequence outline, Russian bombardment table. Then a designer deep dive into Western Front Ace. Sorry, let me center that up a little better, which of course comes from Gregory M. Smith. I've played this game. I have videos on it if you would like to check it out. As is the case with most of his games, it is a narrative solitaire game, but it's very detailed, and there is a lot of great historical feel to it. So he goes through this pretty good. I'm going to have to read this one. I will tell you that right now. I am probably going to play this game again at some point, and it would be good to have a little bit more info on here. Russia Falling, this was from issue 85 of Paper Wars. You've got an optional mercenary rule here. Then we've got designer notes on Brotherhood and Unity, which is still available as well. That's a card-driven game on the fighting in the former Yugoslavia, the Bosnian and Herzegovina War, which lasted from 92 to 95. We've got a lot of info here as well from our designer. Bitter Woods tournament scenario. So obviously this magazine is published by Compass, and it features things related to their games, but there is a lot of good stuff in here if you have these games. Then we've got Cold War and Storm of Steel, Ju-87 Stuka Eastern Front. So this is by Joe Fernandez, who designed the Storm of Steel Ju-87 game, which I have also played on video for the channel. So you can check out those videos if you're interested. This is kind of a background on like what, basically what led up to the game. And I'm sure talking about the game development and everything. Here's an article specifically about the game. Cross Rifles Cold War. I don't know if this one's actually been published or not, but that seems interesting as well. And then here at the back, we've got progress report by John Kranz, who of course is also the man behind ComSimWorld, and he works with Compass a great deal. So you can see some of the, let's get, like I said, one of those snapshots in time from 2021 about where the where Compass was in terms of what was upcoming at that particular point. And on the back, you've got the ad for the Compass Expo in 2021 as well. Okay, so let's now take a look at the game. So here are the counters. They are in shrink still. I have not taken them out yet, but you can get an idea here. Maybe I'll rip the shrink off. But you can see kind of what we saw in the rules. We've got British here. We've got some French down here. Greens are Turkish units. Then we got a lot of Russian units up here, and then some markers. Pretty straightforward. We do have double-sided on the back. You've got the Russian logo or emblem, flag, I guess, really. And then we've got the British flag, the French flag. Where are the Turks? There they are. There's the Turks in the corner, and the back sides of the markers. Pretty straightforward. Let's take a quick look at the map. Might have to readjust the camera shot, but we'll see. So here we have the top of the map. As you can see, we've got our terrain effects chart right here on the map. You've got your turn sequence, your combat result table, your Russian bombardment table, and your turn track. Over here we've got the title of the game with the designer and so on. Here's the Black Sea, okay? And this is upside down, so let me flip it around here. And we'll start at the top and work down. So here's, you've got some elevation, we've got some fields, got the town, Takenlar here. This is the Alma River, which gives the game its name and gave the battle its name. And here we have, this is pretty much the rest of the map now. We have another town, Bolewik. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. But you can see, pretty straightforward map. A lot of open terrain, a little bit of non-open terrain. We got some water. We've got roads with bridges and some built-up areas. This is Alma Tamak here. So you can see, and then Ulukol Tuwayits. Again, I know I'm botching this pronunciation, so I apologize for that. But that is a look at the map. I have not gone through the rules, so I'm not sure what the numbering means. It's probably setup information would be my guess. And you can see here that this says it's got 3 notations in those hexes there, 15, 10, 11, 14, 11, 14, 12, etc. Those would be over here, I guess. Yeah, 15 is this row, 14, 13, etc. So somewhere in this area. So that is going to do it for this one. Here it is, the Battle of the Alma, First Blood in the Crimea, designed by Ty Bomba. It is from Compass Games, and it is in Paper Wars issue number 98, which I believe is still available from Compass. They do have a pretty extensive availability on some of the backlog of this particular magazine. Let me center that up a little better. So yeah, that's it for this one. I will be doing a gameplay video on this game sometime in the near future, a week or two, hopefully, depending on how things go. I tend to play it by ear, so to speak, as we go through. So that's the end of this one. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them in the comment section. Please consider liking, sharing, and/or subscribing if you're not a subscriber. If you are already a subscriber, thank you. I do appreciate the support. That is going to do it. I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered Midweek Magazine. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.